A very good morning, dear students. In science, today we shall revise the lesson methods of preserving food. Now, why we have studied this lesson? It's because we should know how the food can be preserved and why food is preserved. You know that the food grains like wheat, rice, pulses, etc. Okay, they are growing only a certain times of the year, but they are made available throughout the year. Do you know the reason behind this? Yes, it's because one season's crop is stored and protected till the next season. So they are preserved so that it can be available throughout the whole year. Then again, different foodstuffs are produced in different places and they have to be made available in good condition to people at long distances. So, for example, eggs, milk, and milk products remain in good condition during transport from the dairy or poultry farm till they reach their users. So, this is why they need to be preserved, okay, because they are not available everywhere and they have to be transported from one place to another. So, bringing them in a good condition is also another method of preservation. Then we also have learnt that fruits and vegetables are available in abundance in different seasons and they are tasting best in that particular season only. But to prevent these large quantities of fruit and vegetable from getting spoiled and to enjoy them all throughout the year, we are making efforts to preserve them. How we are making efforts? Like you can prepare out of fruits jams, jellies, and of certain vegetables you can make pickles so that you can taste that fruit or vegetable throughout the year. Okay, now some of the things like various kinds of papad, jams, pickles, onions, fish, masalas are prepared and preserved for the whole year in many homes. So they have certain methods of preserving these kinds of food substances and they are made available for everyone throughout the year. Nowadays, we can even buy such ready products in the market too. Instead of preparing them at home, you can get them from the market. Also, sometimes to avoid having to go to market for provisions again and again, we need to store certain things in our house because every time it is not possible for us to go to the market and buy certain things. So your mother knows about it, what to store and what not to store, what to keep it in the house for a long time and then use it for the uh, later use. Okay, so this is the method of preserving, storing. You need to store certain things in your house, like for example food grains like rice, wheat, okay, wheat flour and all. You need to keep it for a longer time, so you need to bring it from the market, and every time you cannot, every daily you cannot buy certain things, so you need to preserve them in your house or store them in your house, right? Then you have also learnt about how foodstuffs are remaining longer. Remain. So here there is, can you tell? Okay, talk to elderly people in your family to find the answers to the following questions with reference to the foodstuffs mentioned below. Foodstuffs like milk, vegetables, green, okay, flours, sugar and jaggery. Right? See what are the questions and how we can answer them. When do we say that the foodstuffs is spoiled and what changes are seen in it? Now, when do we say that the foodstuff is spoiled? It's because when we are getting a bad odor or maybe the taste changes, the color changes, then we say that the food has got spoiled. Is the time in which the foodstuffs get spoiled is different in different seasons? Yes, my dear students, it is different in different seasons because if you see in the winter season, okay, it is cold weather and therefore in cold weather the foodstuffs keep longer. If they are kept in a refrigerator or kept cold on ice, they keep even longer. So whereas in the case of summer, since the temperature is very high, you find that the food gets spoiled quickly because it mostly the food gets spoiled because of the microorganisms, and microorganisms, as you have learned earlier, that they require or they like warmth, right? Now Third question is, which foodstuffs spoil most quickly? Now, the foodstuffs like milk, or maybe the fruits which are juicy, which contains lot of water content, get spoiled quickly. Milk, or maybe mango pulp, or some of the fruit juices which are freshly prepared, they can get spoiled faster because they are in watery condition, right? So they can be attacked by the microorganisms very quickly, right? Then next question, let us see what is the next question. What measures are taken to keep the foodstuffs in the house in good condition for as long as possible? Okay, our foodstuffs has to be kept away from ants, cockroaches, other insects, or mice, rats and cats, so that they can be saved from all these rodent, I mean pests. This is one thing. Also, certain foodstuffs like grains first needs to be dried in the sun before before storing them. Then vegetables like onions or potatoes are kept to dry in the open air in summer, and then they are stored in the dry place. So this is what is done with, these are certain measures which are taken to keep the foodstuff in the house in good condition, right? Then next, let us go to the next part of the lesson. So these are all these answers which are given here. Now there is a divide a chapati into three pieces and all. Right now we do not require that to learn. If we see a chapati is kept in the box for 3-4 days with the water sprinkled above it, what will you see after few days? You will see what? White, black or greenish fibers like cotton wool growing on the piece of chapati placed in the closed box. It also starts smelling. So whereas for several days we see no such changes in the crisp piece of chapati. Suppose you make the chapati very crispy and store it in the same way how it is stored in how the other one is stored in the box with the water sprinkled on it, you will find it is not getting spoiled. So what does this mean? Why we need to compare this? It's because the method of preservation, that is heating, boiling, is one of the measure of a method of preserving the food. So in one of the chapatis which is on which the water is sprinkled, it is kept closed in the container or in the box, it gets lot of favorable conditions for microorganisms to grow. Whereas when you roast chapati for a longer time, it makes the chapati dried completely. That means water content does not remain there, and therefore it does not get spoiled for a even if it is kept for a longer time. Now, what is this? What is that cottony fibrous growth like structure? That cotton wool like fibrous growth on the chapati is a kind of microorganism, and that microorganism is nothing but a fungus. So fungus grows and spoils the chapati. So if you eat this type of food, it may cause stomachache, diarrhea, vomiting. Okay, so therefore we should not eat anything which has got spoiled. Okay, because it consists of the harmful microorganism which can cause lot of problems in the stomach. So here you can see fungus which is growing on the chapati. So spores of the fungus are present in air and water, and the chapati in the box created certain favorable conditions for the growth of the fungus. So this is regarding how the food can get spoiled and how you can preserve it. Okay, now food and microorganism, let's see quickly how food gets spoiled due to microorganisms. So microorganisms require certain favorable conditions, like it requires water, water it requires, then moisture or water, then humid this temperature, high temperature. Okay, air should be there and food should be there. So these are certain requirements for the microorganisms to grow. So once they grow on the food automatically gets spoiled. And so what are the ways of preventing this microorganisms growing on the foodstuffs. So you should know that once the microorganisms grows on the food, and if you eat such type of food, then what can happen? The spoiled food can cause stomachache, diarrhea, vomiting, and even the nutritive value or the nutrition value of such food is reduced. That means whatever nutrition you get after eating a chapati, you will not get them after it has got spoiled. So even it can threaten life. That means due to stomachache and vomiting, it can even threaten the life. That means can even cause sometimes death. Now therefore we need to know what are the certain methods of preserving food. So let's see what are the certain methods of preserving food. Now drying is one method, second is cooling, third is boiling, fourth is placing in airtight cans, and finally use of the preservative. So let's begin with drying first. Now why we need to dry? As I have mentioned to you, one of the requirement for the microorganisms to grow is water. So you need to remove the water content from the food, then it can be preserved very easily. So when we dry foodstuffs, the water content is lost, and this method is used to preserve foodstuffs like papad, kurdai, sandwich, wheat, dals, etc. Second is cooling. Cooling means we need to keep them in the refrigerator. As I mentioned to you, in the winter, since the temperature is cold, the food does not get spoiled faster. So therefore, during summer season, how we can preserve certain foodstuffs like milk and all, okay, fruits, milk, how we can store them, or certain vegetables, we can keep them in the refrigerator. You know that another favorable condition for the microorganisms to grow is the warmth. So in the refrigerator, they do not get warmth they require for their growth. Okay. Third is boiling. Boiling, of course, that when the temperature is increased to very high temperature, you will find that the microorganisms will be definitely dying or getting destroyed in the foodstuffs. So when foodstuffs are boiled, microorganisms in them get destroyed. Then placing in airtight cans. That means airtight cans means there is no air. Another condition for their growth is air. They require, because air has lot of spores of these microorganisms, and because of air, when these spores fall on the food, they start forming into cotton wool like fibrous growth, that is the fungus, and then it gets spoiled. So therefore, if you place the food in the airtight can, that means no air passes in that, then they can be preserved for a long. Okay, so you get tin cans and all in the market, wherein so many different types of food, processed food are kept. So if they are placed in airtight cans, of course they can be preserved for a longer time. And next is preservatives. Okay, preservatives means those substances which are added to the jams or pickles to preserve them for a long time. So these are called as preservatives. And what are the different types of preservatives? What are these certain substances? Sugar, like in the jam, sugar is added, so jam remains for a longer time. Then salt is added in the pickle, right? Asafoetida is also called as hing also is added to pickle. Then mustard means rye, oil is added, and vinegar are some of the examples of the preservatives. Okay, so this is regarding this lesson. Now let's talk about what are the question answers which I have given you in your notebooks, and again some more you can answer. Okay, so first, beginning with the fill in the blanks, we will do now. Fill in the blanks. Dash are dried in the sun before storing. So you know that grains are dried in the sun before storing. Then dash and potatoes are kept to dry in the open air in summer. So this we have already discussed, right? So onions and potatoes are kept to dry in the open air in summer, and then they are stored in the dry place. If we dash milk, it does not get spoiled immediately. Next question. So what we need to do for the milk? You need to boil the milk so that it does not get spoiled. Milk, comma, dash pulp are foods that spoil quickly. So you have learnt this in the questions which were there asked. Can you recall, can you tell? In that one question was there, and I've told you milk or certain fruit juices like mango pulp are the foods that spoil quickly, right? Then we have learnt about the cotton like fibrous growth on the chapati is a kind of fungus. A fungus is a type of dash. Fungus is a type of microorganism. Dash of the fungus are present in air and water. What of the fungus is present in the air? I told you it is nothing but spores. Then dash value of spoiled food is reduced. Means which value is reduced after the food has got spoiled? Yes, it is nothing but the nutrition value. Okay, then when we dry foodstuffs, their dash content is lost. When we dry foodstuff, what is lost from there? It is nothing but the water content. Then when food is placed in a refrigerator, microorganisms do not get dash. What they do not get? They do not get warmth they need for their growth, because in refrigerator temperature is cold. Then you have already learned when foodstuffs are boiled, the microorganisms in them are getting destroyed. Okay, so when foodstuffs are boiled, dash in them get destroyed. So it is the microorganisms that is getting destroyed. Then let us go for the questions which are there in your textbook. That is, find and correct the wrong statements. When something is boiled, the microorganisms in it are destroyed. Okay, what is the answer? Whether it is correct or wrong? Yes, it is the correct statement, because when something is spoiled, microorganisms will definitely get killed. Our food does not get spoiled when microorganisms begin to grow in it. Is it right, student? No, it is wrong. The answer is our food gets spoiled when microorganism begins to grow. So this statement which is given is wrong statement. The next one, foodstuffs dried in summer cannot be used for the rest of the year. Okay, first statement only I said that the foodstuffs should be dried or kept in the summer season for drying, so that they can be used for the rest of the year. So this statement is also incorrect, right? Or it is the wrong statement. Then D, foodstuffs get warmth when put in a fridge. How they will get warmth in the fridge? They become cool. So here this is also a wrong statement. So the correct statement is foodstuffs do not get warmth when put in a fridge. Okay, the next questions answer the following questions we will go for. What are the different methods of preserving food? So just now you have learned that the different methods of preserving food are drying, cooling, boiling, placing in airtight cans. These are some of the methods of preserving food. Okay, what are the methods? Drying, cooling, boiling, and placing in airtight cans. Right? Then, why do we avoid eating food that has got spoiled? So I told you that when we eat a food which has got spoiled, it can cause what? Stomach ache, diarrhea. Diarrhea is nothing but loose motions, vomiting, etc. Sometimes it can even threaten life. Okay, so therefore you can write, we avoid eating spoiled food because such food can cause a stomach ache, diarrhea, vomiting, etc. Sometimes it can even threaten life. Okay, then next question, why do we make jams from fruits? So you know that fruits are not available throughout the year, and they cannot stay fresh for a longer period of time. So what you have to write? Fruits cannot stay fresh for a longer period of time. This is one point. Second point, in order to preserve them, various food preservatives like sugar is added to it. In this way, we can make jams from fruits by adding sugar and enjoy the taste of the fruit even after the season of the fruit is over. So actually we need to get it available throughout the year. The taste of the fruit should be available throughout the year, and therefore we prepare jams from them, right? So that we can enjoy the taste of the fruit even after the season of the fruit is over, right? Next question, what are preservatives? So preservatives are nothing but Certain substances that are either added to the foodstuffs to preserve them for a longer time are called preservatives. I repeat, certain substances that are added to the foodstuffs to preserve them for a long time are called preservatives. Now, what are the examples of preservatives? Examples of preservatives are salt, sugar, asafoetida, that is hing, mustard, oil and vinegar. Okay, so this is the answer of the preservatives. What are preservatives? Then find out the names of the different spices. Also find out which part of the plant they are. Okay, now the different spices which are used in our house daily or mother uses are like chili, cinnamon, pepper, bay leaves, cloves, etc. Now chili, you know, chili means mirchi, right? So chili is nothing but it is the fruit of the plant. The part of the plant is ashnu, so chili is the fruit of the plant. Then cinnamon. Cinnamon means tikhi. Okay. So cinnamon is nothing but the bark of the tree. Okay. It is the bark. Bark means outer layer of the stem. Stem of the plant. Okay. Stem means khod. In Marathi we call it as khod. Okay. So outer part of the khod or the stem is also called it bark of the tree. So cinnamon is nothing but bark of the tree. Pepper seeds, miri, okay, are nothing but the seeds of the plant. Bay leaves are leaves. And cloves are flower bud of a tree. Cloves means lavanga, okay. So they are flower buds of the tree. So these are some of the parts of the plant they are used. Now, what extra questions can come in this lesson? Okay, question can be, who am I? Who am I? So question may comes like this. Certain substances are added to jams and pickles to preserve them for a long time. Who am I? So I am preservatives. You should write the answer. Then another who am I can come is I am cotton wool like fibrous growth growing on the foodstuffs. So who am I? I am fungus. Okay. Then next question can be odd man out. You can get odd man out type of questions. What type of questions you can get like odd man out? Now sugar, salt, asafoetida, cooling. Okay, so sugar, salt and asafoetida, if you see, they are preservatives, whereas cooling is one of the method of preserving, right? So another additional questions also may come for this lessons. So I hope so you have understood what I have revised about this lesson. So students, thank you very much.